あるかもしれない。
How you doing? Today was a very important day for all of us. Hi, you never see this version of metas very often. This was some little bit of After Effects I was doing for Patreon. Shameless plug at the very beginning of the video where I was covering Phantom Blood. But since Steel Ball Run came out the same day, I recorded that and I thought I'd still use the same setup. So hi, how you doing? There is a lot of information we have to go over that I think a lot of people are skipping over. There's a lot to talk about, so let's just get into it. So, Steel Ball Run came out. It was officially teased earlier this morning. I woke up for it around 5 o'clock. I was not going to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning to watch a teaser. I knew that was going to happen, and I didn't do it. But I did wake up at 5, saw it. I was 18 minutes late to it, talked about it, sent it on my channel. And then I waited. I waited a little bit to see all the current information come out, high-res images. And I'm not going to lie, from what I'm seeing, Steel Ball Run looks pretty damn good. Like, really, really good. Now, it's very short. We don't have any animated previews. There's an answer to that, by the way, why we don't. But Steel Ball Run is looking pretty good. Now, I'm not going to show this on this screen. I'll throw it up somewhere here or here. But Steel Ball Run is looking pretty fantastic. And I'm not going to lie, I think so far, from what they are showing us, Steel Ball Run is looking like probably one of the best visual parts so far, I think. I think the first thing we need to talk about is Johnny and Gyro. So they've given us 3 images. They've given us some background stuff, a logo, and Johnny and Gyro. Now, Johnny and Gyro, I'll throw them up here, look pretty good. I have them on this screen. They have simplified designs, and that is done on purpose for several reasons. Nobody likes doing patterns in any type of animation. It's annoying. It's hard to do. So you can see Johnny over here is very, very simplified for the most part. He doesn't have a lot of his stars, but overall, color-wise, compared to the manga, I prefer these head over heels above the previous ones. I think his red, white, and blue aesthetic is much better. I'm kind of iffy on him being blonde. I do actually prefer like the redhead look they give him in the games, but I think it's pretty good. I can't really say too much about it. I think Johnny looks fantastic. I think he works. Most of his showings are like torso up, so his blue pants aren't that much to complain about. I know I've seen some people complain about it, but it's nothing like crazy to bitch over, at least at the current point in time. Now, Gyro, on the other hand, looks fantastic. I cannot be any more happy with Gyro. I think the colorway they chose for him was fantastic. I love the color of blonde that he is. I love his green cape. It's amazing. It's formatted entirely correctly for what I think Gyro should be, at least in a correct colorway, or the colorway he's going to be in for the majority of the time that he is shown. I think it's fantastic. Also, the thing I wanted most, the steel balls are green. So that means I better see some fucking orange wrecking balls from Wikipedia later on. But in terms of overall visuals, looking at them, I think they're perfect for what they are. I kind of upset the crotch fingers are silver. I think those should have been green as well, but of course we didn't get that here. But other than that, I really can't complain about the designs at all. I think, God, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going to throw part 6 underneath the bus. I think that these 2 designs, color-wise and look-wise, are much better than the previous part. I don't know why. I think they're just try-harding a lot more here, at least in terms of this production. So I am fairly happy about that. Now, of course, they did show some key visuals here. If this is true, and if this is how everything is going to look like in the anime, crossing my fingers here, I don't think this is bad, like, at all. If this is how it's going to look like, amazing. Also in this key visual, we see Hot Pants, Diego, Poco Loco. I can't tell who the 2 other writers are, doesn't matter, but we see a lot of the first part of Steel Ball Run's major players here, and it looks fantastic. Also, Valkyrie and Slow Dancer look like basically their manga counterparts for the most part. I think, wait a minute. Does No, Slow Dancer looks exactly the same. I think Valkyrie has white hair, but I don't think it had white hair. I think she had like brunette hair. All of Valkyrie is just brunette. She's just a brown horse. But overall, looking at the key visual, it looks fantastic. It looks amazing. I am highly impressed. Also, the teaser was pretty good. I didn't watch all of Jojo Day. Quick side note on that. Jojo Day looked pretty impressive. We got some figure art stuff that I want to buy. You know, merchandise, of course. You know, Jojo stuff. I think. Here's my stuff here. All of a little bit of Warhammer. But yeah, I can't wait. I'm very hyped for this. I want to see a lot of the stuff that comes out of this in my room. I love Steel Ball Run. I'm going to get a poster. I might replace that Dragon Ball one with it. Overall, in the very short teaser they gave us, this is what I wanted and what I expected. I can't wait to see an actual, like, proper animated teaser and preview here in the future and stuff. So, yeah, I can't wait. However, that's what most people have been talking about so far. It's just the teaser, Johnny and Gyro, how they look like. That's about it. The real question, and where the kind of title I'm stealing from Moist Critical comes from, the controversy. So I'm not going to show this on screen because I don't want to give any free clout. But in my previous video, where I was talking about the possible release date of Steel Ball Run, I said that it's probably going to be in the window. That wasn't the worst case scenario, and then it never got animated. That one's out the door because now we have, you know, this piece of information that more likely than not, we were looking in between 2025 and then maybe 2028. That's different now. So what is being told from, I think, reliable sources, right, is that this anime production has only started in the, I'm actually going to give you a proper date, in the last 4 and maybe a half months. I know that sounds bad, and it gets worse. So that's what's being told to me. Now, I'm going to read this off, right? One way to phrase it, this is from one guy, but I know that a lot of people came to this one, and this one was correct because they leaked this back in like December 12th of 2024, where they were like, it's in production, and like it clearly was. And then a few days later, you know, Jojo Day was you know, teased and released, and everyone was like, it's coming. So these guys are pretty reputable. So above that, I'm gonna read this part out. The production has only began within recent months, December of 2024, January of 2025. With my prediction before, when it came to the time slot of this anime coming out, it really does look like that this anime is going to probably come out late 2026, early 2027. The sweet spot is probably going to be in that 2027 release date. Now, there have been questions about that, why they would release this so early. It's because they're doing hype. This is a lot more effort they're putting into, confidence, I should say, into this part in specific, more than part 6. Why? Don't get me wrong, I like part 6, but I don't think the broader JoJo's community in general likes that part. I'm sorry to say that. So, it clearly seems they're really pushing this part. Like, the fact that they're showing confidence, if this is true, by the way, that they're being like, it is in production. We are working on this basically full time now. We're out of pre-production. We've gotten out of colorways and character sketches and, you know, storyboarding. We're now working on this full time now as our main source after Fire Force. This is showing some major balls. Now, part 6 was kind of like that. There is a bigger push here in terms of marketing, advertisement, merchandise than part 6 ever did. So it really looks like David Productions and maybe Shueisha in general are pushing this product a lot more heavily than the previous parts. It really does seem like they know that Steel Ball Run is a much more internationally more successful part than previous parts, which I think is true. So I think that is the case. Now, on the off chance this leak is not real, right? Best case scenario, and they're like, let's say like 25%, maybe 50% done, right? Of the first season, because of course this is going to be the longest part. There's going to be 2 seasons, I can tell you that already. The earliest we could possibly see this is like maybe late 2025. Doubt it though. I'd say 2026. So at the best you can do is probably like 2026 at best. I think the sweet spot is 2026 to 2027. And this makes sense. I think there's actually a lot of evidence here to support this, as unlike in previous parts where they've shown voice actors, they've literally made like them stars basically for the JoJo family, at least when it comes to the animated stuff, is that they didn't show them at all. So that means, in my opinion, that this production leak is true and that we're not getting this for a while. Sad, but the fact that I know it exists makes me hype, and they are trying to push it a lot more heavily too, which makes me excited for this. That's all I can really format in terms of that. But I think this part so far is going to give us a lot more than the previous stuff. Looking at the previews and stuff, and looking at the character designs, there seems to be a lot more passion put into this than previous parts. We know that Steel Ball Run in general, looking at the many backgrounds that Araki really focuses on, are being heavily emphasized here in the teasers and stuff. So if in a weird case too as well, that they did start production way earlier before, but they're even working on it for even a hell of a lot longer, makes sense, because this is, I think, the first time they've ever adapted a manga that was monthly for David Productions. So there's a lot more effort in here that has to be done, just like how Araki did back in the day. It leads me to think that regardless of what these leaks say or what public consensus is, I would rather them just take their time. All I needed was to be shown that this part is real, and I think that's why they showed it off in like early production, or there's maybe some way halfway through it. Like, this is the whole point of it, at the bare minimum, at the end of the day, that this is supposed to be, hey, it's real, we're working on it, and it's hype. And I'm going to be honest too, from what I can actually understand, Twitter's going crazy on this. I don't think I saw this much love for part 6. So I'm just clarifying that. I think David Productions is doing their due diligence, and they're playing their cards entirely correct, because it really wasn't a whole lot. Like, JoJo Day was cool and all, but we're all here for Steel Ball Run. We all knew what JoJo Day was about. It was for this. I can't say I'm not disappointed. I am hyped. I won't lie. I woke up 5 o'clock in the morning with a smile on my face, tweeting all that stuff out, putting it on my community tab. I'm hyped. I am genuinely so goddamn hyped. And if this preview of everybody racing is what the anime is supposed to look like, right? Like, kind of like an idea / concept art. I don't want to say that in specifically that's a concept art, but like the proof of concept. Oh my God, I can't wait. Oh my God, I can't wait. And I won't lie, bro. Looking at Valkyrie, the horses look pretty fucking nice. I'm not lying, dog. So I don't think we ever have to worry about the whole horses thing ever again. I hope they do take their time. I won't lie, I'm not going to be disappointed if it is a 2028 release date, because I really do want this part to be animated very well. Don't get me wrong, Stone Ocean fans, I love part 6. It's, I think, my 4th favorite part of all time. But Steel Ball Run needs some extra care and love because of what Araki originally produced, at least in terms of visual design and what the story is about. Now, a thing that I also noticed is they didn't show stands off at all. No Stone Free kind of like S thing where they kind of showed that off during part 6 and during that promo. So it looks like they're holding off a lot of information for later. Over the course of probably 2025, we are going to be drop-fed information of this anime. There's no way they're not going to do it, because what they're going to do is, this is all hype. They did the proof of concept. This is the proof of concept was JoJo Day. Moving on forward from there, we are going to get drip-fed things. I think we're going to get more Gyro stuff. We're going to get more Johnny stuff. Maybe Diego, I feel like, is going to be the next thing they probably focus on. And then the stands are going to be shown off later on. And I do think there's going to be a lot of Tusk Act 1 stuff here in the near future, because Araki originally made him to be the mascot of Part 7 in general. So do expect Tusk Act 1 stuff very soon. And I would also say just how SH Figure Arts kind of leaked this a day in advance, because of course SH Figure Arts only works on current relevant series. Look at my tweet from the other day here, is that they will most likely kind of spoil things ahead of time. So anytime there's a merchandise drop, keep it in mind, it's going to lead to somewhere else in the near future. So over the course of 2025, expect more drip fed things, and then 2026 is going to be an interesting year. I'm going to say that right now. 2026, 2027 is going to be the year of Steel Ball Run for the most part. And I think it might be anime of the year. I know that's crazy to say right now while we don't have anything, but if they're confident in showing pre-production stuff like this right now before anything, on top of so much merchandise, it's going to be something. Overall, I'm excited. I'm hyped. I think the character designs look amazing. I think the preview looks good. I'm ready. My body is ready. My favorite part is about to be animated. And I'm going to heavily scrutinize it too if I see things wrong in the near future. But for right now, I think we're off on a good foot. I think we're going to get something really special here, ladies and gentlemen. I am ready for Steel Ball Run. I'm not trying to be overly hyped for this, but I'm as giddy as a 5-year-old child, man. I am so goddamn ready for this part. Oh, I can't wait to see some of my favorite storylines be animated. I can't wait to see In a Silent Way. Oh my god, that fight's gonna be so goddamn good. I love Act 2 and it's showing, but I am hyped. I can't wait to see the visual backgrounds and stuff. It's gonna be something special. So, with that all being said, like, comment, share, subscribe. Support me on Patreon. We're doing Phantom Blood over on there. I'm gonna try to maybe post it here on YouTube. Might have to edit or something around it. I don't know exactly yet with that. It should be cool, should be unique. I'm having a hell of a lot of fun over there talking about that. So if you want to support me there and get some proper lighting for this goddamn room, support me over there on Patreon. Steel Ball Run's coming. I'll see you in the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Stay hydrated. Deuces. Don't drink coffee. It's bad for you kids.